Hello fellow astrologers, welcome back to a brand new astrology keyring series, the CD Basic Birth Chart series. The whole CD series will be us adding together the signs from the C series plus the planets of the D series from our early fundamental series and putting them together to research what the planets mean in their respective signs. We're going to take someone's birth chart info and make a chart for them using freeware. Then we're going to go through all the signs and all the planets to do a basic birth chart. We'll also use the software report as well as Google and a few web pages to research what is a good general consensus of what each combo means. To kick off the CD series, we're starting with CD1, Taylor Swift. We wanted to start off with the celebrity birth chart that is current in the media, that is also not too political, and has been in some relationships. Later on, we'll do some charts on some of the people in her past and current relationships for compatibilities and synastry charts, and how current events are affecting her with transit charts. So the first thing that we need to do is go through and study a little bit about her. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've already pulled up a bunch of information on her, but I'm going to go step by step and show you how I came up with some of this information. But first, we need to research her a little bit. So let's go ahead and see Taylor Swift birth chart. Now, as you can see, I've looked at a couple of other places. These sites here, AstroSeek, AstroCharts, and Astro.com, are actually three of some of the very best places you can go to find this stuff. So let's take a look. Let's go down the list and see what the general consensus is of what her birth time is. Now, according to this, she was born at 8:36:08, which would be 8 in the morning. You can see right here, this says that she is a Capricorn ascendant. She was born at that time. Now, ascendant moves the fastest. This changes about every 2 hours to a different sign. Depending on what time she's born is going to tell us what the ascendant is and how the actual houses are set up. So let's back it up. Let's see what astrocharts.com say. I actually like AstroCharts for finding if you're looking for other celebrities and stuff for charts. They actually got a really nice list of all of these sites have some great compilation of good information on famous people. This one here, it's okay. So this says 5:17, but the birth accuracy is poor. That's something you want to look at. Talks a little bit about her, but this has a different time. Let's see what some of the other places. See if it's a bunch of crazy things and nobody has any good times. Down here, 8:36. Okay, we've got two of them with 8:36. Shows her at that time. Let's back it up. Let's go down to astro.com. And astro.com also says 8:36. It looks like 8:36 is one of the winners here with the Capricorn ascendant. Now the other one, see this one, let's go back to this one. This is another one. Okay, and this goes back to the 5:17. So it looks like we got two times. Looks like they don't have an exact time for Taylor Swift's birthday. Now, this could be one of those things where those celebrities just don't really let people know what it is. So people are guessing. So it's between the Scorpio moon, between the Scorpio ascendant and the other ones who say the Capricorn ascendant. So let's plug in both the times and see what we got. See if we can compare our charts to what these guys got. And even before that, let me back it up a little bit. Let's plug in Taylor Swift's birth time based off what we have. Taylor Swift. Now I'm using the Astro 123 software. If you haven't watched our G1 video where I go through how you set up all this software and you want to actually load the software so you can have something to do yourself, we recommend this software highly. I'm going to show you why, because it actually has reports and stuff that we're going to use later on in the video. Right now, let's plug in her information. All right, we'll start with this one and make it a little bit smaller here. This one is December 13th, 1989 at 8:36 a.m. Now, right here, it actually gives her coordinates. Let's see if it actually go to cities, and we will look. She was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, so let's change the list to, let's look for, what's the Pennsylvania? P will be between the R and the M, so it should be here. See if we have Reading, Pennsylvania. There it is. Reading. Is that the same thing we have over here? It says 4420 north and 75. Well, it's off one, but that's close enough. Taylor Swift. Let's change lists over here to okay, let's change back to, click back to names. Where we switch over here to save Taylor Swift. So I'm going to go ahead and save to disk. And then we'll come over here and hit select because it's our name file. And then pop. This comes back over here. Now we have Taylor Swift saved. Let's go ahead and pull up her wheel. We click on here. Hit natal data. Should pull up. Here we go. And this, it should show. Let's see if it talks about a breakdown of her natal chart here. Okay, shows the sun's at 21 degrees, 31 minutes. Let's check for the sun right here. Here's the sun, 21:32. Pretty close. The ascendant is at 8:13. Actually, let's, yeah, 8:13. What does this say here for ascendant? Ascendant is 8:13. It's very hard to see. It's very, very tiny right there. See if I can zoom in a little bit. $8.13. There it is. Alright, so that's the correct one. We saved that one. Let's go back. Now that that's saved, let's go input. Let's go look at this other chart. Input, so now we can enter in the other chart. Now the other chart wasn't that much different. If we click on this, make this small again. Back it up a little bit. I think it was this one. Talked about the 5:17 a.m. one. So that we just got to change here to this to 5:17. And we'll save this as Taylor Swift 2. Save to disk. Save to disk. We come up here, select File, Select. And then it shows you right here, Taylor Swift 2 is saved there. And we have the second chart. So let's go ahead and say OK. And pull up the wheel. Shows it over here at 25 degrees Scorpio. See if that says the same here. Let me move it over just a little bit. And the ascendant is right here at 25:33. Just one little tick off. Scorpio. Right there. Alright, so we have the two charts. We'll save these. Now, we can use these to figure out a little bit more about which one's the correct one. Now, One thing you'll find in every chart, here, I went ahead and took the liberty of saving these charts. One thing about this software is it does reports. Now, I can click on this and hit natal report, and pow, the actual report comes up. And interesting thing about this software, as you click down on it, it'll actually tell you a little bit about how his basic philosophy works, and then it goes straight in. Oh, let me go to Scorpio rising, and it starts telling you a little bit about what Scorpio rising is. See that, and then you keep going down, and it'll get into the planet's position. The Sun in Sagittarius. You go down again. It tells you more about Sagittarius. It'll go down and tell you about Venus in Aquarius. Actually, looks like I went too far. We passed Mercury. The Moon in Cancer. Mercury in Capricorn. So it actually gives you a breakdown of what all these different things are and gives you a full, you can actually print this down. It'll give you a full breakdown. And we'll actually read from some of these paragraphs in a little bit when we go over the chart. But as you can see, it's one of these two charts. And let me, since I've saved them, I'll come back. Let me pull up what the saved version looks like. Okay, and here's where you see it with Scorpio at the ascendant. So the two charts here, I'll flip back and forth. It's easier to see them back and forth here when I have them on the printout. This is the printout from the same software. You can see this is the version with the Capricorn ascendant versus over here with the Scorpio ascendant. So we picked one particularly that didn't have a set sign as well, because people need to know that it's not always important to know exactly what someone's birth time is to still get some good information. Even though the ascendant is off, you can see very distinctively here, the ascendant is off and the houses are off, but the planets are still very much the same. Like if you look right here, it says 21 degrees Sagittarius at 23 minutes. But when I flip over here to the other one, we look at the same thing, 21, 23. It changed a whole 3 hours, but none of this changed. The next fastest thing to the ascendant is going to be your moon. And if you look right here, the moon was at 1 degree Cancer. The moon was at 1 degree, 23 minutes Cancer. This is the moon, and that's Cancer. If we go back over here and we look at the moon, it's only 3 degrees, 29 minutes of Cancer. And it still makes it so when we go up here, we go back up here, where it says moon, the moon is still in Cancer. So a lot of what this breakdown is going to give us is still going to be the same, regardless of whether she was born at that time or at this time. Matter of fact, I took the liberty to go ahead and look at what the planets look like at the moment that it struck midnight that day, as well as going here and looking at what it looked like at 11:59 p.m. So it's an entire 23-hour and 59-minute difference. And as you can see, when I switch over here, they look almost like the same chart. They still have the same Virgo over here. Now, granted, it changes, so we're not really going to know what her ascendant is for sure. We can debate a little bit about it, and we'll do that in the next video when we start talking about the breakdown. But when you look at here, you can see that the moon actually is at 12 degrees Cancer, so it's still Cancer, but it was just a little bit into Gemini here, which it actually kind of goes away at around 2 o'clock in the morning. So 22 of the hours of this day was in Cancer, so it's a good bet that she's probably going to be a Cancer moon for sure. And she does kind of show some more of the Cancer moon traits, which has a little bit more deeper in emotions as opposed to Gemini, which is a little bit more aloof. But we'll get into that more in the breakdown in the next video. So one thing we wanted to show you about charts and looking them up, that there's not a whole lot of difference. The other big planet that moves real fast, the next big thing that moves real fast, besides the moon, would be Mercury. And right here, Mercury's at 8 degrees 20 minutes here versus here. It's only at 9 degrees, so only changed 1 minute. It's still going to be a Capricorn Mercury. So all of these planets and signs are going to be the same. So let's go back here and look at the two different ones from the original ones. Between the Capricorn one and the Scorpio one. Personally, by kind of knowing a little bit about T Swift, I'm not saying I'm a huge fan. She makes great music. I'm kind of neutral about her, personally. It's part of the reason why I picked her. I think she's a little bit more Scorpio than Capricorn. Capricorn can be a little bit more crass, where Scorpio would be a little bit more suggestive in the way it looks. Where Capricorn is just going to be a lot more blunt. And I think, personally, she's a little more suggestive than she is blunt as a person. But that's something we can debate a little bit more in the next video. One thing to always remember is that you won't always get that information. But it doesn't mean you can't still get some good stuff on what all the planets are. And later on, I'll show that we'll still be able to do synastry and angles and stuff like that with other people's birth charts to her, like the other people she may have been in relationships and things like that, where we can see compatibilities, because the planets are pretty much the same. And that's something we wanted to show here, that regardless of which one you pick, the planets are still right there. Mercury, 8 degrees, same thing, Mercury, 8 degrees. Still going to make some pretty tight angles. The only time it would be difficult is when you do transits, where the minutes get a lot more important because you're only doing 1 degree orbs in transit. But that's a conversation for much farther along. Now I think we're ready to move on to the next bit, because we've pretty much summed up how to work it in the chart and pull up information. In the next video, we'll be pulling up this and we'll be comparing the two different ascendants to the different charts. And we'll get into the Sagittarius Sun and Cancer Moon. And we'll look all of these up and get more into detail about the actual interpretation of the chart and how we go about doing it in the Luminary series of CD1. We hope you have enjoyed this video from our Astrology Keyring series. If you like the content, please like, follow, and share with your friends. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed journey.